Welcome to Expert Partner University, the knowledge you need to succeed. I'm Mark S.A. Smith with Outsourced Channel Executives. We're the company that makes winning channels. And in this program, I'm going to discuss how to drive your own economic recovery and jumpstart your partner channel and position yourself to take full advantage of the economic turnaround. What economic turnaround, you ask? Good question. At OCE, when people talk about the current recession, we like to say that we're just not going to participate. Now, it may sound a little flip. Well, what we mean, though, is that there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of buyers, plenty of money out there in the marketplace. It's just that many people don't feel like spending money. That's starting to change. And the folks who win are the ones who are in position and prepared for growth during the slow times. Lately, there are more and more signs of life in the overall economy, and I think that things have begun to turn around. But that's almost beside the point, because what I'm really talking about is the economic turnaround that you're going to start for yourself. So, if you're ready to jumpstart your channel and drive your own economic recovery, this webcast is part of your economic stimulus package. Okay, let's get started. The reality is that every down business cycle has moved up through leadership. That's right, someone leads us out of the slump. Whether it was Franklin D. Roosevelt in the Great Depression, though I don't know what was so great about that depression. It was more like a depressing depression. John D. Rockefeller said in those times, "These are days when many are discouraged. In the 93 years of my life, depressions have come and gone. Prosperity has always returned and will again." This is my third business cycle like this, and I've made money in every one of them. Ronald Reagan led us out of the energy crisis in the early 80s with his trickle-down economic theory. Although not everybody got trickled on, the economy did recover, with Wall Street reaching historic highs. And now, President Obama is encouraging us to find hope and reach for new success. And as of the moment I'm recording this, Wall Street is up more than 40% from the lows of earlier this year, and more companies reporting good news. But not everybody has happy news. And that's what I want to talk with you about in this program. Anytime that there is an economic speed bump, businesses reprioritize their vision. It's important to remember that some companies use the economic condition to fire some workers that should have been reassigned to more appropriate tasks long before. I wouldn't consider these leadership-inspired companies. Yet companies that focus on older technology or less popular products strip down to the basics and either reinvent themselves or get taken out by savvy competitors. And there are always companies that emerge seemingly out of nowhere to grab big chunks of the market. Those wildly successful companies can be you or your customers. So let's talk about how that can happen, how you can lead your company, your team, your channel partners, and your customers to new levels of success. And do that right now. To start the process, look for good news everywhere you can, because you can't lead by constantly telling your team bad news. There is plenty of good news around, but most of it goes unreported by the public media. I suggest that you find good news and feel good about it. I'm not talking about becoming Pollyanna, because there may be unpleasant realities that you have to deal with. Yet find the good news, because then you'll know that there is light at the end of this tunnel. For example, last week I flew to Houston and noticed that the Hertz car rental reservation board had 7 panels full of names, compared to only 2 panels at the same time 3 months ago. This tells me corporations are traveling again, and that's good news. Talk good news with everyone. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell your team, tell your customers, tell your channel partners. Send it out in email messages. Tweet the good news. Post it on your blog. If you subscribe to my tweets or read my blog, you'll find that it is almost always focused on good news, offering insights and opportunities that I find. View the news with healthy skepticism. The popular media always reports news stories with maximum emotional impact. If they didn't, you'd never pay attention, and they'd never pay their bills. If you're like most people I know, you've had firsthand knowledge of a news story. So, did the media have at least one major fact wrong? It's likely you've had that experience. Yet, we still take the news stories as truth. Why is that? So, I suggest that you view the news with skepticism and instead reposition news stories to reflect a leader's viewpoint. For example, if a public industry figure is quoted saying, "It's going to take years for us to dig out of this depression," I suggest you to reposition that as, it may take years for some industries to recover, if they ever do. But I also know that other industries are doing well and are poised for greater growth and success. That's where we will focus. For example, Computer Reseller News recently reported that the top 500 value-added resellers had a combined growth in 2008 of 15%, with some enjoying growths of triple digits. I bet you didn't hear that on cable news. While certain industries are very depressed, others are doing better than ever. While the media reports the bad news, it ignores the high flyers, and in general, that's how the high flyers want it. We've all seen good people and good companies be spooked by the bad news, and now these same people are waking up and seeing that it's not all that bad. In fact, it's pretty good. Recent industry reports show that hard good inventories are now at historically low levels, which means it's time to crank up manufacturing. Are you ready to take advantage of that opportunity? Lead your customers and your channel partners forward by focusing attention on real opportunities with a can-do attitude. Now is the time to illustrate business flexibility and thought leadership, not resistance and unsupportive thoughts and actions. Write your plan for what the recovery will look like. Every great leader has a plan. You write business plans, you write marketing and sales plans, you write manufacturing plans. So, write your economic recovery plan. Script your vision with historical evidence and your positive interpretation of current situations. Then, share that plan with your team. They will be delighted by your forward thinking and will take their cue from you. Associate with others who feel the economy is turning around. Here's why. Those with a positive focused outlook will be the first to identify opportunities. And they're the ones that will buy from you, versus those who are still commiserating about how bad the economy is. They're going to miss those same opportunities because they'll be focused on how they can't make the change. You won't be able to sell them a thing. But they will let you buy them lunch as they tell depressing story after depressing story. Not a good economic recovery plan for them nor for you. Maybe it's time for you to declare a recovery special. Give your customers and channel partners incentives to start now. You probably have lots of great offers in place right now, such as advantageous financing, rapid delivery, and increased capabilities. Yet, I'll bet that your customers and channel partners don't know about them or have forgotten that they exist. So, start telling your recovery story and remind them of the great things that you have to offer and why now is a great time to take action. If you or your team have any open slots in their day, invest in yourself. Take time to train and think about what's next. And I thank you for taking time to let me share these ideas with you. Take time to reconnect with old colleagues, especially those who are leaders. Start something that you've been putting off. For example, a new lead management system or lost customer recapture program. So, that wraps up this segment of the program on how to lead your way out of the down economy. In the next segment, I'll discuss how to spot who's turning around first and how to outrun your competition the moment the turnaround breaks. I'm Mark S. A. Smith, and I'll see you in the next segment.